I'm running the solar amplifier, scrap of the soul cloak, damage out. And they actually help you in the heat of battle. For rage, loadouts for everyone. So, without further ado, let's get into it. For the white mods, you want Blast Adapter, Head mod, Supercharged Infuriate. I'll explain the Infuriate. You need this leg mod because you're using the power. Tumbling Master, max damage. Now when it comes to rage, as I said before, close combat is very effective. As for the loadout, Gallon Eruption, Severe Punishment, to actually get your heals in combat while actually having the aura that actually does damage over time. It says while active you gain searing aura and damages nearby enemies. With this loadout, you're actually using 3 PIs. And what PIs are actually damage over time. So, inflicts plasma burn aura and damaging over nearby enemies. This one inflicts plasma burn. The only 2 moves that you're gonna need is Outrage and Revenge. The reason why I run Infuriate instead of Berserk, yes, Berserk is a well-known supercharge for close range combat with rage. The only reason I don't run it is because the chances of dying while using it are very increased. If you look at Infuriate, it says it increases your critical attack chance and your critical attack damage. You also actually get resistance to crowd control effects by the enemy, and also actually receiving healing to the amount of damage you do. Since this is a very high damage loadout, you get 8 heals that are actually pretty legit. So, in other words, basically, the loadout, I forgot to actually go into skill points. It's the same spec as every other power, super powered, critical attack chance, critical attack damage, might and power. The only thing that I used to use in Iconics was Robot Sidekick, but it turns out you don't need that with this loadout. Get your movement. Since you're not really using weapon combos because this is not a precision loadout, you would actually need just one in weapon. Now as for the way the loadout works, this is exactly how I have it set up. So it's left to right. It doesn't look like it's doing a lot of damage on a sparring target, because the sparring target is not the actual content, so which means that this loadout is actually like an electricity type deal. You're actually using Galling Eruption for the area effect. You're using Severe Punishment for close-up effect, and also Violence to knock them down. And then for the close-up effect as well. This loadout made me in top DPS 3 times within the new content. Like I said, I've been the top DPS in the new content 3 times. The raid, the alert, definitely the duo. But this loadout is my own design. I can't give all the credit because I actually found it on YouTube, but this loadout, with the healing of rage, is so severe it's actually topping the healing of fire. Believe it or not. In the new content, I never die. Close up with this rage loadout. Gallon eruption, severe punishment, violence, the supercharge infuriate is really important. That's why I run the Scrap of Soul Cloak. Even though it's not yet up to at least 80%, or the 80 rank, that's why I run it. Most people actually run the Tetra. I don't run the Tetra because I'm not using my head. My might, as I sit right now, with not fully leveled up artifacts, is 40,000. This loadout is actually very helpful if you want to be close up all the time. And as I said before, for the range loadout, it's not that much of a difference of spec. The only difference with this one is if you go in here, you need Freezing Breath and Robot Sidekick. Plasma Wrench, Dreadful Blast, Freezing Breath, Harmonic Bombardment, Robot Sidekick, and again with the Fury. Now with this loadout, there's a trick to it, because I know a lot of people that actually screw up with this loadout, and it's the way they use it. So basically what you need to do is actually Plasma Wrench, Dreadful Blast, the full combo, Freezing, and then Weapon Cancel, and do it reversed. So what it does in this way is actually just like this. See, 32,000. And you have to clip them or they don't work. So that's this loadout. Same spec and stat points. Grab your movement, weapon mod, and that's pretty much it for this one. My single target is a little bit different because for a simple fact is not many people know this, but in single target I see people use the heat vision. It doesn't scale with range, and I'll tell you why. With Plasma Wrench, you're already setting up the PI, and not only that, if you're wearing the Grimoire, the book, it sets up the PI for you anyways. So you need Dreadful Blast. Only do the first part of a Risk-Getting Chain. They're like really close to you. If they're really close to you, then go ahead and actually do the full combo. And then Channel Hate. Channel Hate actually heals you. The reason why I recommend this loadout is because Channel Hate not only does the damage, but it actually heals you for the portion of the damage that you dealt on the move. So Plasma Wrench, Dreadful Blast, Chain, Dreadful Blast, Plasma, Dreadful Blast, Channel Hate. And it doesn't use up a lot of power. And you don't have to cancel it like the heat vision. As for my tank loadout, the only thing I still use for this one is the robot sidekick. Don't worry about getting heat vision. It's the same stat points, same weapon. That's pretty much it for this one. As for my tank, let's get into tank right here. Alright, there we go. Wait for the loadout to switch. Alright, for this one it's a little bit different. Energize and risk getting chained because that's your rage cancel. And you're not using a supercharge, so you want power back somehow. It doesn't matter what weapon you use. I recommend the absorption adapter because of the 75% until damage equal to 30% of your health. And with rage, it's true, you want to buff your health as much as you want to, as much as you need. But with the 50 hit counter, you don't need to buff your health as much as you might think. I put mine in dominance and I do just fine. With the neck mod, fortified assault, because with rage you never need to block. Accelerated, excuse me. Accelerated redirected rage because that's your shield. For your chest mod, you actually want hardy. It gives you that increased 5% health. Personally, I prefer not to use Deadly Black because, like, if there's a skull attack, I like to move out of the way as quickly as possible. And since I'm not using a bunch of shields, and I don't need to worry about DPS damage, I use Mighty Smashing because I'm using my weapon more than anything. As for the artifacts, the mystical symbols of 7 because it increases your healing received by you or healers. The Steel Refractor actually gives 7 group members health equal to your dominance. And like I said, that's why this dominance is so high. Because I want people to actually have the health that I do. I've seen people use the Tetra for this case to actually help out the group members. Me, strongly personally, I say no to that because for a simple fact is the Manacles of Force, if you read it, it actually, when Unshakable triggers, it resets Density, Gemstone Shield, Immolation, Redirect Rage, and Winter Ward, which is all tank powers' strongest shields. And then on Resident, it actually says it actually reduces all 10% of every shield that you use. So this is actually really good for all tank powers. And that's pretty much explanatory on that. I've seen people use 2 shields. Personally, I say no to that as well because Remorse and Severe work great together because Severe only heals you for a portion of your damage, like 87%. It doesn't heal you for all of it, so you're still getting hit. So with the rest of that percentage, I use Remorse and it actually heals me up to 6 times. And the survivability of these 2 actually equals that 100% that's missing after the revamp. As I said before, Redirected Rage Shield just when these 2 are on cooldown. Without Mercy is a 360 pull, like if you have a shit ton of ads. Sorry for my language, but if you have a crap load of ads, this power actually helps more than this one would. For your investigating chain, I usually don't actually use the combo unless I'm like hitting it too early. And then Ragebringer itself. Now, I will actually mention this in my future tank videos. Personal dampening field. It's actually an extra shield. Comes handy if everything, like your redirect rage shield's on, still on cooldown, or you don't have severe and remorse up. That helps. If you're having trouble with the ads, I recommend getting chronic emitters because it stuns them for 3.5 seconds. Other than that, that actually covers everything that I wanted to speak of, except for the stat points. I actually found out, and I don't agree with the Zidian chill, I'm sorry, but I don't. Focus hybrid, yes, I do agree with that part. Get your power back, get your dominance and resto up. Great. But he said, and I quote, that critical healing chance and critical healing magnitude does not stack with any of the rage powers. And I say otherwise. And it's because Remorse's recovery actually stacks with the critical healing chance and magnitude. So if you're gonna run Remorse, I recommend doing it that way. If it actually comes to dominance, you can do dominance. Most people say go health. I say not to, because dominance is actually what actually keeps the ads together. If you're lacking in dominance, you're kind of screwed. So that's why I like to actually keep my dominance really high. So none of the ads are like drifting off to other allies of mine that are in my group. As I said before, dominance actually keeps the ads in check. So like say I wanted to pull him from right here. I can. Without hesitation. And then, like I said, for the chronic emitters, it just stuns the ads. Other than that, I really don't see an issue with this loadout. If you guys actually have any better loadouts that you want me to try, I'm more than happy to. If you want to actually hit me up, I'm usually in the watchtower. And I'm more than happy to actually teach people Rage. I mean, to be honest, Rage, say that Rage is actually the ad tank. Actually, to be honest, it's not entirely true. I actually use this tank for ads and bosses. It works both ways. Rage gets disrespected because they say that it's only an ad tank when it's not. If you're using the Manacles of Force like I'm saying, you're actually, when it actually procs, you're actually healing yourself for 30%, but it actually stacks because you're increased that healing received by 10%. So in all actuality, you're actually getting 40%. And as for the augments, you always want dominating augments. And I forgot to mention that the Battle City Soda is actually overpowered. In damage roll, it increases your might and precision for the group for 5 seconds is what I got it for. In tank roll, it actually absorbs the damage up 5%, which is really helpful when you first pop it. Pop it. It actually gives you a shield and raises your defense. For like 5 seconds, I couldn't actually freaking do it because for the simple fact is it actually doesn't work because I don't have it fully mixed out, but it actually raises your defense for a short period of time. Other than that, like I said, after this video, I have a troller, a munitions troll that I'm actually gonna post for video, and then I have a sorcery healer, and I'll explain that on my next video, right after this one. Other than that, I love you guys. If you love me back, subscribe. I'll talk to you later.